Hello! Yay, this is working. Every time I do one of these live videos, I'm like, is this gonna work? Hi everyone, my name is Lauren, and I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm here to do a video of my card making class. So I had a class in February for two projects for Love and Leisure. Unfortunately, some people who paid and received the materials were unable to make it to the class, but that's okay. So this video is to show them the project and for step-by-step instructions. And I hope you enjoy. If you have any questions about the projects or the materials or anything at all for Stampin' Up! Or creating of card making and such, please let me know. I'll put up my contact info at the end. Alright, so we're going to start with the Love version of the card class. So let me go over all the materials here. So what we should have is a white piece of cardstock. Yours would be folded because I had folded them ahead of time so I could fit them into the packaging. Let me just give it a decent fold. Might not be a good fold, but I'll work with it. Let me grab my bone folder. There we go. As I kind of nearly destroy it accidentally. Alright. Alright, so you should have your card base. You can go either this way or that way, entirely up to you. What you should also have is a piece of purple cardstock, a piece of white cardstock. You should have 4 of these squares, double-sided. So ideally have 2 on the one version and 2 of the other pattern. You will have a really nice die cut heart with the XOXO on it. And then you'll have one of these, which you will need to trim. And as well, you'll have the purple version of these, because for some reason I have misplaced my purple. And to be brutally honest, I don't recommend this type of embellishments. I picked these up from a big box store because I needed some materials. And I would suggest pull these off and use other glue adhesives to glue them on, because otherwise this is not helpful. Alright, I'm going to already get started and trim this heart. Let's get that done now before we get started. So I'm just going to already cut a piece off, and then I would say as close as possible to the heart. I know it's easier said than done, but this is probably the challenging part of the project. And then go back to this side and do the same thing. I'll probably go over it a little more, but let me at least get a cut started. Okay, I got that, I got that. And then just finish cutting this portion. Doesn't have to be super perfect, but ideally as close as possible, which I just kind of went a little too close there. Oh well, it'll still work. Ideally what's important is the with love section I want to be shown. Okay, so we got that done. Let's start assembling the project. So you're gonna need, adhesives tonight is, I would say, something for the overall adhesives, a tape runner, which I have this from Stampin' Up. So let's start with that. Let's build it piece by piece. So put the 2 hearts aside. We're gonna start with, I'll just start building. I'm getting all distracted. So this purple goes on top of this card base centered. So we'll do that now. And nothing fancy, just get a bunch of adhesives on here. Alright, there's that portion. And then on top will go the white, again, centered. Could always put dimensionals on this to make it stand out, but for me, I'm just going to put just adhesive. Alright, so I've got that started. And then we're going to take our squares. So the question I have for you who's making this is, do you want to open that way or that way? Entirely up to you. I think today I'll just go this way, because it makes a difference with putting these on. So my next suggestion is, lay these on now so you can already determine where you want to put them. And that will make putting the adhesive a lot easier, like so. That way you can already position them, and then just carefully, one at a time, put your adhesives on them. So I've got 2 done so far. I'm on the 3rd. And then the 4th one. And it's okay if it's a little imperfect, because the next part will help kind of hide the center in case it's not quite lined up so well. They may not be a perfect cut, but that's okay. There we go. There's my 4. And then next we're going to take these 2 hearts, and my suggestion is layer the purple on top of the white. And the idea is to create like a balloon on the project here. So I'm going to more or less put mine on there, so I know where I'm going to put it, which helps hide a little bit of any imperfections. Now, the 2 of these, I'm going to use a regular adhesive to glue them together. Like so. But then to glue them on here, I am going to use some dimensionals. So I'm just going to put the cap back on that adhesive. As I reach for some dimensionals for today. So I would say 3 are okay. Even if you don't have dimensionals, regular adhesive will work as well. It's just as a suggestion. And peel the white caps off. And then I'm just going to put mine right there. And then lastly, I'm going to take some of these, and I'm going to take some glue dots. And it helps if you have like a pointy stick. A needle will work. Stampin' Up! Does sell their own version of this. So my idea of this is to create like a tail for the balloon. So I'm going to put like a total of 5 glue dots to help show a tail. And what I'm going to do is literally one at a time pull the caps off and put one of these jewels on each. And yeah, Stampin' Up! Does have nicer versions of these. It was just at the time I needed to order. I need to get something quickly, so I fell onto these, which I have learned may not be the best of choice. That's 2. That's 3. Could always put more. I just want to do about 5. Of course, it's stuck to me. Come on. And the last one. Alright, so there is the first project completed. Ta-da! Hope you liked for something cute for Valentine's. Alright, so the next project, let's go over the materials. You'll have some strips of paper. This Let the Adventure Begin. A blank white piece of cardstock. These interesting blue 3 pieces. Another piece of cardstock with Grateful for Family Like You, and a card base. Alright, so let's start with the interesting part of this project, which is these strips of paper. So ideally, you should have 7 pieces total. So let me lay, it really helps to lay them out so you know what you have. So I've got, I thought there was 2 stuck there. So I've got 2 lighthouses. So everyone will have a random assortment of 4 patterns, but there's a total of 7 pieces. So my suggestion is the odd one, put it in the middle. So like so. Then what we're going to do is glue all these strips onto this card base. Let me just kind of do a mock-up show you. And yes, these strips are longer than the card base, which is done on purpose. But see how I'm kind of layering right on top here? And yes, make sure the direction of some of these is right side up, like the lighthouses and sailboats. But yeah, but by more or less kind of sort of doing that, and then space them out nicely too, is the idea is creating this paper with this pattern. So that's kind of what I'm going with. So I'm just going to move these up and just do it as I go. Alright, so I'm going to take my adhesive and just literally across this, put a whole bunch of adhesive down. Is really how I'm going to start. There we go. Just want to make sure I've got some of the edges. Alright, that should be good. Just going to put a cap back on that. And then lay these one on top of the other. And I would recommend you can do a little bit off the edge because the last one may not fit so well. And you can put them right butt side by side, or you can slightly overlap them. I think today I'm going to slightly overlap them. And then when we're done, we'll trim the edges to make it look a little more uniform to the to the piece of cardstock size. So this is the leisure part of the project. And the inspiration for this, well, the love portion was because of Valentine's Day, but this one is because of... Oh, I got a little short on the edge here. This one is because of Family Day, which is this weekend. So there. I'm going to cut that edge off because I kind of overlapped them a little much there. It was not my full intention, but that's okay. And I'll probably keep this side one then. But just make sure they're holding. And I'm just going to take some scissors and have some cutting. So I'll cut that edge off. And I'm just going to cut the top and the bottom edges to make it all line up. That's better. And do so on the upper part here, or the bottom, either or. And this paper I had used from older stock I had in my collection. So, but there is a really neat piece that I just love this idea. And yes, I was very much in a nautical feeling recently. Alright, so we got that piece completed. We're going to take our card base. I'm going to fold it in half. Take my bone folder. And then this piece, we're going to put right on here on our card base. So just as a reminder, direction for opening. And now to do so, actually I'm just going to trim that other edge just a little more. Because I can still see some of the white, especially when it's paired right up against the blue. You can really see it standing out. There we go. That's much better. So you could put this on with just regular adhesive, or I'm going to do a combination of the adhesive and the glue in the dimensionals, which you'll see. So first is put a dimensional in each corner. You can use either way for the adhesives. I'm just doing a bit of a step up. And then in the center of this piece, I'm going to put some tape runner. That way it makes it even more a bit of a 3D feel, which I will show in a short. I'm going to peel off the white caps. Make sure my direction is correct. Lay it on. And the reason for doing that is press in the center. Because that way all the adhesives will stick on. And by doing that, it's like a billowed out, so the edges will be more sticking out. Center's a little more centery stuck towards, but it helps with make the edges stand out more, is why. Alright, then we have, before I get completely far ahead, this piece goes on the inside. So let's do that now before I totally forget. Just regular adhesive. Just centered. Alright, so that's our inside. Because this, to me, has a family day traveling feel. So then we've got this Let the Adventure Begin piece. And then we've got these interesting pieces. And these are supposed to be a sailboat. Now let me put it together. And these I had hand cut because I did not have the punch for them. So you'll have to... let me put it on white so you can see. Hold on one moment. Let me find a piece of white paper. Here. Let me show you what it looks like on white. So you can do this direction or the other. This is how it looks on this version. So what I'm going to, I'm just doing this on white so you can see the actual piece. And I have somehow, in the last moment, misplaced my sentiment here. So I'm thinking of... I'm going to put these here. It's because it helps to know positioning. And I'm going to put that up there. So that's more or less what I'm going to go with today for this version. So for this, let me check my original concept here. For that, I would use that tag with dimensionals. In there. And then for the boat, the frame of the boat, I would suggest use glue dots. And for the sails, use dimensionals. So I'm just going to put some glue dots on the frame of the boat. And then dimensionals for the sails. And if you don't have many dimensionals, what you can do is you can actually cut the border edge that's not used. And use those if need be. If you need a smaller dimensional. That's why I keep all my borders. And just lay it on. It doesn't have to be touching, but as long as you can visually see that it is a sailboat. And there is our completed project. And there is our 2 projects for the card making class. If anyone has any questions, please let me know. I hope you enjoyed this project, as these 2 projects I have myself. Here is my contact info, and thank you for checking out my video. And if you're interested in more of my card making classes, please let me know. I'm looking at the next one probably being around April. I need to come up with a project concept, and yeah, thanks for tuning in. Feel free to hashtag replay if you're catching this on a replay, and feel free to subscribe to my channel here, as I do put up videos pretty regularly. And yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.